Let's take a look at some tools that can be used to sniff network traffic. Several different tools available to capture traffic, most popular being Wireshark and TCP dump. Both of these options are free, and there are some commercial options available as well, such as Riverbed Steel Central, CAPSA, OmniPeak, and Observer Analyzer. Wireshark, I have here, de facto standards, very popular, very fully featured, relies on something called libpcap, which is a packet capture library. It's also the same library used by TCP dump. Big difference between the two is that Wireshark is graphical and TCP dump is command line. They both accomplish the same goal of capturing traffic. It's just how they're displayed, and some of the analysis you can do in Wireshark is a bit more than in TCP dump on the command line. We're going to hop into a quick demo of Wireshark and see what it looks like. So I started up Wireshark, and the first thing it shows us is a list of interfaces that are available, as well as spark lines to show you traffic that's actually flowing. So I can tell here that Ethernet 3 is most likely my active network connection. That's a wired Ethernet port on my laptop. I'll double click on that and immediately see some traffic flowing across the network. So let's take a quick look at it. Just by looking at the packets that are flowing, I can tell that I'm connected to a Cisco network. This HSRP is a proprietary protocol used by Cisco. It's hot standby router protocol. That's used for gateway redundancy on a local area network. Let's see what else we can see in here. We see some DNS traffic. There's some TCP traffic. If I apply a filter here, such as UDP port equals 53, then I'll filter in on DNS traffic. So here's some DNS traffic for screammy.name, Google. Let's see what else we can find in here. TCP port equals 80. Looks like we got some web traffic. See if I can get some to show up there. Let's surf to forks.com. Looks like we got some traffic flowing. And what we can do is come up here to analyze. We select one of those packets, follow TCP stream, and it'll narrow in on the actual flow of traffic. We can clear out that filter here and see traffic continue to flow. Looks like there's quite a bit of traffic going on here on port 2253. So if you recall from a previous lesson, I had SSH'd into my home system. So that's what this information is here. I'm actually connected to my home system right now through SSH. So there's quite a bit you can do with Wireshark. As well, you capture voice over IP packets and actually listen to them as they're flowing across the network. So pretty cool stuff. I would definitely recommend taking a look at it. One of the things you could be quizzed on is the actual format of those filters. So if I type in tcp.port equals 80, this is a filter. You need to be aware of the options available for filters. It provides some information as you're typing. tcp.sourceport would be another option, equals 80. And it goes from red to green to let you know that what you've typed is valid or not. So quite a bit of options there. Take a look at it, play around with it. This is something as an ethical hacker you need to be extremely familiar with, capturing traffic, analyzing traffic, and being able to pull information from that data. Next up is TCP dump. This is that command line sniffer I was telling you about. You can download it at tcpdump.org. If you want to run it on Windows, it is possible to do that. However, you need the Windows version of the packet capture library, which can be retrieved from winpcap.org, and windump is the Windows equivalent of TCP dump. It runs in the command prompt and does the same job as TCP dump. Quick look at TCP dump on Linux. So here I'm logged into my Linux computer at home. And first thing I want to do is run TCP dump. I'll give it an interface of Ethernet 0. And I'm running this here to show you this error. You don't have permission to capture on that device. Operation not permitted. So in order to put your network interface card into promiscuous mode, you need to be root. So let's go ahead and get root. Now we can run TCP dump and give it an interface. And we should see quite a bit of traffic. There's several different options available with TCP dump to actually get to the data. So if I do an in, this is to not resolve names or ports. So if you see here, this DNS packet, it says .domain here. That .domain is telling you the port number. So it's actually resolving the port number to a name that's a little bit more easy to understand. So similarly, here's .ssh. the -NN tells it to not resolve names or port numbers. So now when I execute it, you'll see no names are flowing in the output here. It's all just numbers. Similarly, if I put a VV on there, this is verbose, and it will provide quite a bit more information, such as the TTL of the packet, the flags that are on TCP segments, checksum numbers, a lot of data to deal with. And we can add even more with the -X, which will actually output the data of the packet itself, which, let me kill that. If we were looking at Telnet, we would see the actual username and password, which could be pretty handy. So let's try to do that now. Let's do TCP dump -I Ethernet 0, and we're going to not resolve names, but I do want to see the data. However, I want to filter it to just Telnet. Here in TCP dump, if I do TCP port 23, so now I am sniffing just for Telnet traffic. Coming over to my other window, I'm going to execute a telnet to 10.1.1.1. It's asking me for my username. I'm going to type in Nick and my password. So as we look through the output, we can actually see the raw text that was entered into that telnet session. Right here is the query for the password, and here is where I actually start typing it, that capital H. Scroll down a little bit, HAPP, yep, it's in there. So there are other tools that will actually give you the data in easy to read format, such as EtherCap, which I mentioned earlier. It'll show you just the raw telnet session and the data going back and forth. If you were to capture this to a file, which is the -W option or command line switch to TCP dump, and you save it to a capture file and then open it with Wireshark, you can, again, there dig into the data and see just the raw telnet traffic going back and forth, and it'll color code it for you so you know which host is which as it's talking. And this exclamation point right here is the final character of the password as it's flowing across. Riverbed Steel Central is a commercial option for sniffing, provides charts. It'll do geolocation of IP addresses, as well as show you which applications are using the most bandwidth. You can get more information at riverbed.com. Another option is CAPSA from Colasoft, very similar to Riverbed Steel Central. It provides charts, graphs. It'll break it down by protocols so you can see what's going on your network, provided you actually have access to that network. OmniPeak is another commercial sniffer produced by Savius. Also provides charts, graphs, shows you bandwidth utilization, breaks it down by protocols. All good stuff. Observer from Viavi. Again, another commercial option with charts and graphs and bandwidth utilization, protocol breakdowns. Colasoft Packet Builder. This is another product from Colasoft that will actually let you create a packet and put it on the wire. If you don't want to use the command line, such as hping to create a packet, then this would be an option to do graphical packet crafting.